Hello, I'm Brittany Marshall. On this edition of Commuter Connections, we've got all you need to know about MTA's newly released strategic plan and the fall 2021 service changes. Plus, a look into an art and transit collaboration that brought a new mural to the Penn North Metro Subway Link station. And we'll check out the latest real-time signage technology throughout the system and celebrate the National Aquarium's 40th anniversary. All here on Commuter Connections. MTA is preparing for the future of transit. The agency recently released its strategic plan for the next 5 years. Now, this plan will guide the agency's recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic and identifies priorities to create a brighter future for transit. To tell us more about this plan, we're joined by MTA's acting administrator, Holly Arnold. Holly, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So MTA recently released your strategic plan to the public. Tell us why the agency decided to release this plan to its public, the riders, and all of the employees at the agency.
Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, it really kind of changed the way that we do a lot of things at the agency. It made us realize how travel has changed. It made us realize how essential transit is and how we need to be kind of versatile as we come out of this COVID-19 pandemic. So it looks at our road to recovery and the post-pandemic world ahead and establishes our vision for the next 5 years. I think a lot of people are questioning where we're going and what we're doing, and it really lays down bold commitments to our employees, to our riders, and the public, reminding them that we're still here and that we're going to continue to push transit forward. It's titled Rebuilding Better, Committed to an Equitable Transit Future. And so I think in that title, it really does say what we're committed to in terms of rebuilding, not just the way we were, but better, and making sure that we're looking at equity as a central focus.
And you talk about commitments. There are 5 commitments throughout this plan. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so we have 5 commitments: centering equity, addressing safety and security, providing reliable, efficient transit service, communicating with our stakeholders, and planning for a sustainable future. Those commitments really provide the foundation of how MTA is going to do business for the next 5 years. When we look at prioritizing our resources in terms of funding or service planning, we're going to hold ourselves accountable to those commitments. And so those are our way of telling the public how we're going to do business and what we're going to be doing.
Creating equity, the first commitment at the forefront of this entire plan. Tell us what this means for riders and why you all decided to center around equity.
So as we were having discussions about the strategic plan, equity kept coming up more and more. It's something that we do and is ingrained in providing transit. Transit is an equitable service, but we really felt that we needed to be bold and put that out there and let everyone know that that's what we're going to be doing. And so what that means for riders is, as we look at service, we're going to ensure that we provide service to those who need it most. We're going to be looking at equity measures when we install new shelters or do projects in different neighborhoods. And we're going to try and reach out to underserved communities and really kind of form those relationships to understand not just what we think they need, but what they actually need.
And the next commitment is addressing safety and security. Of course, that has been at the top of mind for all transit agencies throughout the country as we're dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Tell us a little more about what this means for riders and also for our operators.
Yeah, so safety is obviously a number one priority for our employees, for our riders, for the public. And the COVID-19 pandemic did change the way we think about safety. Now we're thinking about airborne pathogens on transit, and it's definitely different. It changed some of the way that we do business in terms of cleaning, airflow, providing shields on our system. But in addition to that, over the past year, MTA, has suffered the tragic loss of 3 of our operators. And, even just one operator assault is too many. And so we're really kind of doubling down on that message that, safety and security is paramount. It means we're going to focus on how we make the system better for our operators and for our employees, how we make it safer for our riders, making sure that we're being transparent about crowding and reliability, safety and security enhancements across the entire trip, such as additional lighting at stops and shelters, making sure that our MTA police force is known to be out there and providing that security measure. And then continuing our COVID-19 safety measures throughout the entire COVID-19 pandemic.
And quickly, can you tell us about the commitment of providing reliable and efficient transit? Of course, that is what riders and what's important for all riders right now. So please tell us just a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so obviously that's in our mission. We want to provide safe, efficient, reliable service. So we're committing to that, that we are going to make sure that we provide transit that our riders can count on. We're going to adapt to changes beyond our control and make sure that we're communicating those issues to our riders. So we're looking to improve reliability with a real customer focus by adding more dedicated bus lanes to speed up transit, providing real-time information on all of our modes, and then looking for, on our mobility service, Repair Transit, providing some opportunities for same-day booking and more reliability there. And then also in terms of new travel patterns, we want to add, we've just recently launched Charm Flex, which is 3 and 10-day fare passes to kind of reflect the way that people are traveling today.
Can you please tell us just where can people find more information on the strategic plan, and any last words on just the plan itself?
Yeah, so the plan can be found on our website, mta.maryland.gov. And, I think that I really encourage everyone to check it out. It is a good way to see what we're committed to, what we're going to be focusing on for the next 5 years as we recover for this pandemic and really focus on that better future for transit, for our riders, for our employees. We're going to be transparent and tracking as we move forward. And I look forward to feedback and comments on the plan as well.
Thank you, Holly, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing what the next 5 years in transit looks like.
Thank you.
A bold mural is bringing new life to the Penn North Metro Subway Link Station. Created by local artist Megan Lewis, this artwork is one of the final elements of the Penn North Station renovations and is part of the $27.3 million North Avenue Rising Revitalization Project. Jackie Downs, Arts Council Director for the City of Baltimore for the Baltimore Office of Promotion in the Arts, joins us to tell us about this arts and transit collaboration. Jackie, welcome to the show. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, Brittany.
So MTA and BOPA collaborated for this great and beautiful mural project. Could you explain to us how this collaboration even began?
Sure. So back in 2017, the city and the state partnered together to apply for one of the most competitive transportation grants in the country. And it was to support a project called the North Avenue Rising Project. And that project was designed to really bring resources and a whole host of transportation upgrades to the North Avenue corridor. We were brought in to manage and facilitate the beautification aspects of the project, which is now you see the mural in the station.
And the mural is absolutely beautiful, and it was done by a local artist named Megan Lewis. Why was she chosen?
Well, because she's phenomenal, first of all. Megan Lewis is a notable and celebrated artist here in Baltimore. She's a Baltimore native. She's a multidisciplinary illustrator, and she's known for her vibrant and bright colors and her commitment to portraying African Americans in the most positive light and everyday people. So as you can see, her work is outstanding. A panel review team of professionals, stakeholders, community members, artists, they voted for her. Out of 45 applicants who applied, she was selected, and you can totally see why.
And it's a mural that's supposed to depict the community there. So tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so the mural, as you can see, it's really supposed to depict community, legacy, and Baltimore culture. And in the mural, you'll see a Black ballerina. You see a drum major from a marching band. You see a father and a daughter, just everyday people doing everyday things in Baltimore City. So I really hope that people see themselves in this mural. It's really important for public art in these neighborhoods to reflect the people who live there. And it really just captures the essence of what Baltimore culture is. So it really represents a true depiction of Baltimore culture, especially in this neighborhood. It's beautiful. I love it.
And you talk about the importance of artwork in that neighborhood, but how important is it to have these art and transit collaborations throughout the city and just throughout the U.S.?
I think public art is so important for everyday life for people. Public art allows you to really be creative, and it inspires people to think and be imaginative, and it bridges divides. It heals. People connect through public art. So my hope is that when people are riding on the train, going to work, coming home or going to school or going wherever, when they look up, they can see themselves, and that can bring you a sense of pride. So that's really exciting. And I think that every city and every community community should really be working together to bring these type of initiatives, because it really makes a mark on what the city is. Who is the city? What are we saying about ourselves? What are we saying about our communities, our people? So these type of collaborations are essential, and I'm super excited that Baltimore City continues to do that with Baltimore City neighborhoods.
It really sheds a light on the identity of the community. It really does.
Absolutely. And people should feel a sense of pride. I hope that people walk past and feel a bit of nostalgia, maybe, or just a sense of pride. I remember growing up and going on the trains and the subway stations, or just walking around cities and seeing huge pieces of public art, whether it was a sculpture or a mural, and I'm in awe. I'm struck by it, but I didn't always see myself. So the fact that we have public art where people can look up and see themselves reflected in such a beautiful and positive portrayal, that does something to you. It does something to children. It does something to elderly people. It does something to anyone. So people have a sense of pride in their community. Yes, this is who I am. This is who we are. This is what we do. So I love the way Megan really showcases the beauty in everyday Baltimoreans and the things that we do. So it's awesome, and it's essential for communities to have this in their neighborhoods.
Tell us again, where can people find more information?
Yes, you can check us out at www.promotionandarts.org.
Thank you again for joining us. It's such an important art and transit collaboration. We really appreciate you being here to tell us more about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brittany. Have a great day.
Coming up, we'll take a look at some of the real-time digital signage that was recently launched at a few MTA stations. Stay with us. MTA recently launched a pilot program of real-time digital signage, kiosks, and monitors throughout several stations in the system, providing riders with the most accurate service information available. Joining us on the show to tell us more about this program is MTA's Chief Innovation Officer, Mike Helter. Thank you for joining us, Mike. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here, Brittany.
So the new kiosks and monitors at the subway link stations and the light rail stations, how did they even come to be?
A few years back, around the time that we were doing the entire bus reorganization, Baltimore Link Project, we realized that not only do we need to change the system, but we also needed to change and improve how it is we communicate the service to our customers. And so we started with a basic core tenet of trying to get good real-time information. And so once we were able to launch that in a few of our services, we realized, okay, we have good core information. Now we need to figure out ways to convey this to our customers. And so we started working with the transit app and with some other companies to get that information out into the public kind of landscape. And after we're done with that, the idea was to start installing some permanent infrastructure at some of our stations, which pulls from the very same feed, that transit app, that are, if you text message a stop sign number, pulls from all the same source. And provides that information at the station. So we decided to put up some permanent infrastructure, install some displays at some of our stations, and start to go down that road of improving communications to our customers in a variety of ways.
And where can people find the kiosk and the monitors right now?
We have them at Charles Center on the street side near one of the bus stops. We have them at Penn North Metro Station. We have them at Penn Station. We have them at State Center Metro. We recently put new ones up at Rogers Avenue, at Mondawmin Metro, and at Patapsco Light Rail. There's some plans to put some more in, but we're still trying to figure out where there's going to go right now.
And that's a good amount of stations and locations, but can you tell us, for people who probably won't be able to see them, what do they look like and how are they used?
So there's a variety of formats of them. It kind of depends on what the space allows us, the type of information that we're displaying on these monitors, how close people can get to them. So at Rogers Avenue, for instance, they hang from the ceiling. And because that's kind of a far away for somebody to see, we're only able to display 4 to 5 arrivals at a time, because people need to be able to see it from, that ceiling's about 25 feet up. So if you're standing on the ground, you need to be able to see that. At Mondawmin, it's right at the top of the escalators as you come to the street side. And the font is a little bit smaller because you can actually walk directly up to the sign because it's mounted to the ground and look at it. And so there we display all the routes that are coming within proximity of Mondawmin, which, if you've ever been there, has a large amount of bus routes that go through there. And so that's a really good one-stop shop to tell you when those arrivals are going to be. So we kind of gauge the situation, where people are going to be viewing it from, and the types of services that we're going to be displaying on these monitors to decide what the solution is.
So what has the response been from riders as you guys kind of launch some of these new kiosk and monitors at different locations, in new locations?
We put them up about 2 or 3 months ago. And when we were installing them at these new locations, which would be Patapsco, Rogers Avenue, Mondawmin, as we were putting them up, it was really interesting to sit there with the patrons as we were testing them out, who immediately gave us some feedback as to, maybe we need to modify the size of this font, or they didn't know exactly what this meant. And so that gave us some direct feedback, and we continue to take that feedback in when people call in, when they post on our Facebook, or a variety of different ways. We're trying to collect some of the reception and continually improve this, because the plan is to potentially roll them out at more stations. And so we want to make this something that works for as many people as possible. So it's kind of an ongoing iterative process to continually improve it at each of these different locations.
And how is the new signage funded?
So mainly the new signage at those stations that I mentioned before, we were awarded a grant from the FTA called Beyond the Bus Stop, which allowed us to do a number of basically efforts beyond just a simple bus stop. And so there was some real-time display stuff. There was some amenities for operators at some of the end-of-line services that were really great amenities for our operators to be able to utilize, and a variety of other different things. But I think it was about $3.5 million that we were awarded that we put into these signs and other parts of the project.
And as we come to the close of the interview, is there anything else you would like to say kind of about the new kiosk and monitors that have been put up?
I think the only thing I could say is that we look forward to continuing to hopefully roll these out at more locations and continue to make the information better, more accurate, more consistent, and providing more kind of real-time information about your journey that you would like to know as you look at these signs.
Thanks, Mike, for joining us. We really appreciate it. We hope to see more of this in the future.
Thanks. Anytime, Brittany.
As Maryland's economy continues to recover and more riders return to transit, MTA is focused on building stronger connections that fit each rider's need for flexibility and reliability. Part of that effort are the Fall 2021 service changes that include service modifications and new fare options. To tell us more, we're joined by MTA's Director of Service Development, Rowan Bennett. So Rowan, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Hi, Brittany. Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
So the Fall 2021 service changes, they're already in effect. Can you tell us some of the biggest changes that happened?
A lot of what we did, centered around job centers and getting more folks to job. One of the biggest changes was the addition of the 163, which is a new route service, a new express service from West Baltimore into the Trade Point Atlantic area, which is a very big job center for the state, as you know. And we also did some realignment on the local link 93 to basically reroute into a Walmart and a Home Depot. So, priority focus was definitely trying to get more folks to job centers and making sure that we saw where the ridership demands were coming from and where we needed to have service, and that's partly what we did.
And also Express Bus service is back. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So we've resumed the Express Bus Link service, certainly based, during the pandemic with a lot of folks working from home. We did not, we discontinued the service, or suspended the service rather, over the few months a year, I guess, so a year and a half. So we've resumed the service. We've seen the fact that businesses are starting to open, a lot of businesses with a hybrid model. And so more folks need more commuting options to get to work. We've definitely seen an increase in traffic. And so that is definitely something we factored in basically bringing the service back. One of the other exciting things about the express service that we did is we did remove the surcharge, right? There was a 60-cent surcharge for express bus service that we've now reduced. So again, realizing that as folks are coming back to work, having some more financial flexibility is definitely something we wanted to provide with the fare products that we offer.
So in addition to those different service modifications, there are also new fare options. Tell us about those.
Yeah, so we launched a CharmFlix as part of our mobile pass options. It's a 3 and a 10-day pass. And what we were looking to do there is tailor the services and the fare products to the flexible needs of our riders, realizing that not everybody's coming back into the office full time. And so whether you come in 3 days a week, 10 days a month, whatever it is, we wanted to provide more flexible options so you weren't saddled with having to purchase a pass for an entire month, or an entire week. And certainly it's discounted, right? It's a 15% discount, so that's also an added bonus.
Those 3 and 10-day passes, definitely a great option for those teleworking. A lot more people are teleworking now. A lot more people coming to work just a few days a week, not a full week. So this is definitely a good option.
Absolutely, and it's available through the Charm Pass. As I said, it can be used on local bus, light rail, metro, and commuter bus. As I said, it's about 15% less compared to the regular price. So that was very good of a single day trip. So I think it's a good option for our riders, and I look forward to hearing more from our ridership about how much they're using it and how much of a value-added product it is.
There were some discontinued routes. Can you tell us about those and why they were discontinued?
So routes that we discontinued were largely due to low ridership and duplicative service. And so CityLink Yellow, which was a pilot to Relay, was discontinued. So that was a pilot that we implemented 2 years ago. The Express Link 164 was also discontinued, but alternate services provided on the local Link 67. So again, we didn't just discontinue a route without providing options. There were definitely, we looked to make sure riders had options if we were going to discontinue service.
So what was the main purpose of these service changes, and what was MTA really trying to, make happen with these changes?
So as you know, we make service changes 3 times a year. So this was part of our annual service change where we, make the most modifications to the service. We certainly wanted to prioritize access and equity. We wanted to improve reliability, and we wanted to certainly match the ridership demands, right? We wanted to basically tailor the service to make sure, we learned a lot during the pandemic about where the core ridership was coming from, where people were coming from, where they were going. So we wanted to take a look at that data to make sure when we implemented this service change that, the reliability focus and the equity and access to the job centers was an absolute priority. And that was largely where we placed the focus with this change.
And these changes came after a 30-day public comment period from our riders. Kind of now that they're implemented, kind of what have you heard from riders about the changes?
Most of the feedback we've gotten, very positive. I think the fact that when we did have the public hearings, we did not get a lot of pushback from the ridership. So this was, we knew we were going in the right direction. And so based on what we saw during the public hearings, what we heard, and the feedback received, I think the ridership has certainly responded positively to the fact that, again, we're providing access and equity, we're going to the job centers, and we're listening to the needs of the ridership to make sure that we can tailor the service and make it more reliable for people trying to get to, connect to life's opportunities.
So where can people find more information on the fall 2021 service plan?
So certainly our website is a major source for information, but also our social media pages, website mta.maryland.gov, as well as our social media pages, as well as Facebook, Twitter, all of our social media sites is a good place for information. They can also always call the Transit Information Contact Center at 410-539-5000 for more information if they have questions as well.
Thank you, Ron, for joining us and explaining all the different options from the fall 2021 service plan. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brittany. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Coming up next, a trip to the National Aquarium in Baltimore as it celebrates its 40th anniversary. Stay with us. One of the most visited attractions in the entire state, the National Aquarium in Baltimore, is celebrating its 40th anniversary. Joining us on the show to tell us more about what you can see at the aquarium is the Community Programs Manager, Sarah Docolo. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
So tell us, the National Aquarium celebrating a big anniversary. Tell us all about it.
So it is actually our 40th birthday. So 40 years ago on August 8th in 1981 is when we opened our doors, and we have welcomed over 56 million guests since then.
And okay, 40 years is a long time. So how much have you seen, or how much has the aquarium changed just over time?
I think the aquarium has done a really wonderful job staying true to its mission of inspiring the next generation of hopeful conservationists and really staying connected to the Baltimore community.
And you said millions of people in 40 years. How important is the National Aquarium, not just to Baltimore, but to all of Maryland?
Not only is the National Aquarium my personal favorite tourist destination, each year the National Aquarium generates $455 million of economic impact, like $30 million in state and local taxes and 4,500 jobs statewide. So the National Aquarium really does reach beyond the Inner Harbor.
And talking about the here and now, what is new at the National Aquarium?
There is something new every day to see at the National Aquarium. We have thousands of animals. So every time I go to visit, I see a new friend, which is very exciting. And upcoming, we have our Read to Reef program is returning for the fall season.
And tell us more about that program.
Of course. So the Read to Reef program is a partnership with the Enoch Pratt Library that invites Baltimore area children up through 5th grade to read ocean, aquatic, or conservation-themed books, and they fill out a bookmark that they get at their local library location, and then they can get up to 4 free tickets to the National Aquarium.
And are there any special books on that list that the kids get to choose from?
It is a wonderful curated list that a lot of our scientists here at the aquarium get to look through. My favorite for this season is called Green Green, A Community Garden by Marie Lamba. And it really celebrates how you can have a community garden in a city center. So it's a really cool book.
And how many, you guys have this program, how many books have actually been read so far?
Since the program started 5 years ago, there have been over 66,000 books read through this program, and over 47,000 people have visited because of Read to Reef.
Such a great educational development program for kids. I love to hear about stuff like that. So could you tell me, though, are there any other things going on or programs, initiatives at the aquarium right now?
Of course. So we are always really happy and love being a part of the Baltimore community and have a lot of accessibility programs, which I get to work on as the community programs manager. And upcoming soon, though, will be Free Fall Friday night. So we're taking part in Baltimore Free Fall, and we will be opening our doors for Free Fall Friday night, October 29th.
So how can people get free tickets?
So please come visit our website, aqua.org, and visit your aquarium. And there will be updates there for how to get your tickets.
So for those who have not been at the aquarium, I know so many people have, but where exactly is it located?
Downtown in the Inner Harbor, and you can get to the aquarium by the MTA Metro subway, the light rail, and a number of downtown buses, which are within walking distance and very convenient to travel down to the National Aquarium.
So what's the cost of admission?
General admission tickets are $39.95 for adults. And if you visit aqua.org, our website, you can see all of the other pricing and other opportunities for Marylanders to visit.
You mentioned the website, aqua.org, but are there any other ways that people can find more information on the aquarium?
Coming to visit our ticketing center on Pier 3 in person if you'd like, and also following us on all of our social media accounts.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah, for joining us. Happy 40th birthday to the aquarium. Thank you again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we end the show, we want to honor the winners of our MTA 2021 Bus Transportation and Maintenance Rodeo. Congratulations to operator Benny Williams and the mechanics of Team Crossthreads for taking home the top prize. Keep up the good work. And that brings us to the end of another edition of Commuter Connections. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.